वो होगा हमारा reconnaissance की part. So reconnaissance means recon means extract information about your target as much as possible before the attacking phase. So you can see reconnaissance techniques for web application part. So which exactly we're gonna look for information? What kind of information are we gonna look for over here? So when coming across to the over here, let's see this one. This star mark, which is also known as wildcard entry. Wildcard क्या होता है कि इसमें कोई भी data fit हो सकता है वहाँ पे. Anyone can join. So it's also a good idea to seek around the road less travel. Look for the data which is available for all. So over here, toxic or forgotten application running on the strategy named subdomains very quickly to lead up uncovering critical vulnerabilities and high payout. So, and as we know about, the main website might not be vulnerable to any of the critical vulnerabilities, but you can search for the subdomains. The subdomains might be vulnerable, so that we can look it for the further stages. Our major objective of today's session will be to identify what are the directories and subdirectories present on the server side, which can be leaders for information gathering part, or we can say the subdomain part. Discovering such subdomains is a critical skills for today's bug hunter and crossing the right techniques and tools in paramount. So you can see there are many techniques for subdomains discovery, from utilizing public resources such as your Google and some other more further things. So over here we're gonna try one by one. For example, the subdomain discovery has a website like you're utilizing public resources such as your Google, VirusTotal, brute forcing them, and sometimes also scanning the IP blocks and doing reserve lookups. Any of these methods are delivering okay result, while combinations of them ensure the compressing output. So over here, the major objective we're going to do is to simply find the subdomains that could be leaders for the information gathering part. For example, we already know about this how to use Google Docs. So what it will be the possibilities that we can find the subdomains of the any website which is over here with the help of Google Doc. Google Docking helps the pen tester to identify any of the resources which is publicly available. So over here, let's try this one. So I'm going to use security trials Google Docs. So exploring Google's hacking techniques, Google Docs, we can say that. So over here you can see OSINT is the first methodology. OSINT means open source intelligence, where we can gather the information about the target as much as possible. Let's talk about a website called ecouncil.org. We're gonna gather information about EC Council. See, this is the domain name, ecouncil.org. So if you are before the Google Docs, the major objective of the information gathering is to when was the company has been started. So you can use whois.com. Whois.com will let you know about the domain, when it was started, and what are the further things we can find. So let's try with the domain name over here. Sorry, it was over here. Whois lookup. Whois lookup will let us know about the when was the domain name started and what are the name servers and information gathering part. So over here we can see that the ecouncil.org was registered on the year of 2001 from the Network Solution LLC. We can see a proper value data, and the most important thing we can see it's updated from its domain was updated on the last 2018, and it expires on the year of 2023 over there. So our major perspective over here is to simply test the skills one by one and to use all the further things. Domain information is the first priority. The domain information, where we can simply look for all the possibilities, and that could be work for the further stages. So let's have a look what kind of information we're going to look. Status is deleted or prohibited. It cannot be seen by the server. Name servers are the important thing. Why? Through the name server we can access the domain names. We have two name servers, which is Henry and Zelda, and the name servers which is works on the port number 53. So the major objective over here, we're gonna try to penetrate all the skills one by one. So over here you can see the registry content FL, the country is US over here. You can simply check the raw data. Through the raw data we can simply identify the types of informations that could be used for in the further stages. And you can see over here we can try all the possibilities. So give me 2 minutes guys, I have to call someone. Okay. Yeah, so we were over here. So who is information will let us know about the target information when it was started and what are the other procedures one by one. So our major goals would be to simply penetrate all the skills and we're gonna look for all the things that could be in the upcoming sessions. So over here, let's have a look what kind of information we can look for. So for example, we can see this is a normal registration ID number, so we can information we can get, and let's have a look that it was started in the very first stage. And let's have a look on the netcraft also, because there is a website called netcraft which is also used for information gathering part, netcraft.com. So netcraft information can be proceed in the further stage, which can be used for information gathering part, and call be there. So over here through the netcraft, we can also gather the information about the domain of the specific domain. For example, the EC Council domain. Let's have a look which kind of information we can get. So over here through the website, we can gather the information, and this is the title, and this is the site of the rank. Each and every website has a site ranking, and over here we can see the networking part. The networking part, which contains some your ecouncil.org, the network blocker, which what the website is owing, and this website is basically hosting on Cloudflare. So over here we can simply check that this website is hosted on Cloudflare, and the hosting country is US, and the IP address of that server is this. If you open this IP address on over here, you will see an error. Let's try one thing. Is it a Linux based or a Windows based? So I'm going to do a ping command. 3 packets. So over here I can see 128. But there is one thing. It's showing 128. This means it's a Windows server. But see, if you go down, you'll see the name servers that we already know. That was Henry NS Cloudflare, and your domain registered to, your name server of the organizations, your organization was US, the DNS admin, your DNS Cloudflare, the reverse DNS. You can see over here all the things, IP deletion part. See, now the hosting history, the net blocker they are using, it's showing us Linux. And before the tutorial showing us that it's a Windows server. Before it was showing 128. 128 means it's a Windows server, but over here it's showing it's a Linux server. And you can see the IP address, which is same. And over here, you can simply check this one also. This IP address was different. 1041.18.20 and 254, and this IP address is totally different. Let's try do a ping command over here. It also showing me 128. Okay, because of my networking, it was making an error. So let's do one thing. Let's do bridge. Now let's try. Now you can see because of the bridge connection, it was showing 128. Otherwise, it's a Linux machine as per the data. Let's try with this one also. This was also a Linux machine. Because my network adapter was on the NAT mode, that's why it's not was interconnected with the other network. So you can see the machine, the website which is using over here is a Cloudflare machine. And over here you have to read about the sender policy framework also. Through the sender policy framework, most of the domain names which is registered to send email address on instead of their part. So we have to check all the possibilities one by one, which can be lead us for information gathering part. A host header, you can see they have mentioned a host header. Sender policy framework describe who can send mail of its behalf, means a domain name. This is done by publishing an SPF record containing a series sets of rules. Set of rules are there to be specified. Each of rules consists of a qualifier followed by specification of which domain to apply this part. Means, for example, think about it. If we have a domain name xyz.com, a mail server should be used by that xyz domain. For example, if I'm writing Sunil over here, he's sending me a mail from xyz, so it's using his domain, the company domain to sending. Each and every company has their domain to send the email address, emails on the specific URL that could be used for any further things. तो सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है कि यहाँ पे हर एक कंपनी की अपनी खुद की यूआरएल्स होते हैं. अगर आप एसपीएफ की बात करो, एसपीएफ में भी आपके वल्नरेबिलिटीज होती है. अगर मैं आपको शो करूं एसपीएफ रिकॉर्ड्स वल्नरेबिलिटीज, HackerOne reports, ये देख लो, no SPF validate 2019 2020. An attacker could send a fake email. The result can be more dangerous. Email spoofing is a tactic used in phishing and spam campaign because the people are more likely to open an email which is think they have been sent by legitimate source. The goal of this email spoofing is to get recipient to open and possibly even respond to the solicitation, the email part. So there are many further things can be happened over there. There are reports, there are things, there are many other things can be done. Missing SPF record. Many further things can be happened. See, if you check one by one all the records, you will see all the possibilities. The major agenda of this is to simply, you can see, alert the companies that any attacker can use any domain. For example, let me show you one thing over here. MX Toolbox is a website which can be used over here. So many further things can be happen. MX Toolbox is basically used to identify which kind of mail servers the web server is using. For example, if you click over here, so let's have a look of SPF record of any of the website. Let's take ecouncil.org. No SPF record is found from the ecouncil.org. There is no valid user. An SPF record contains all the checks. You can see the command you can use to check the SPF records, the mail exchange, which mail exchange they are using. See, if I simply change for mail, you can say mail exchange, MX, which mail exchange they are using. Unoccupied, okay. Otherwise, you can try over here, host-t mx and the domain name. So currently they are using Outlook mail exchange. If you are not getting any output from the domain on the website, you can try to check from here also. There are many things that can we do. All we just has to need is to simply run the commands one by one. So our major objective is to simply penetrate our skills and check what could be the possibilities one by one. So let's have a look over here also. If there is no SPF record found on the server side, SPF record of the server, okay, let's have a look this one, SPF ecouncil.org. There was no SPF record. So through the SPF record, if there is no SPF record, any attacker can use that specific domain name to send some spam emails. For example, let me show you one thing. So over here, I'm going to use mkai fake mailer, and I'm going to use one more website that would be my temp mail. So let's use this one. So this temporary mail, we're gonna capture some of the, we're gonna send some mails over here on the URL like this one. They have given a temporary mail address. See, from, you can write anyone. You can write anything, just like your any name, Sunil Kumar. It will pop up a name from email address. Now the email address that doesn't exist, so we're gonna use sunil.k @ and the domain name of the ecouncil.org. Now to the specific one over here, subject EC Council voucher. You can write these things. You can attach any malware on that. You can attach anything. Or let's have a text file. Thank you. Regards, Sunil.k. Now the main objective, this email address doesn't exist. This email address doesn't exist, and we are using ecouncil.org, which is a very big thing. See this one. The mail has been sent, and over here we're gonna use this one to receive the mail. And see, I got the mail from the Sunil Kumar @ecouncil.org. This is one of the critical vulnerability. Why? An attacker can use the company's domain name and send some spam email address, and it could be used in various things. It could be used in your attacking phase, or it could be used in any purpose. Anything that might be usable, that can be useful. Our major concern over here is to simply penetrate all the skills, and we have to simply use the domain which is over there. Lots of further things can be happened, and we're gonna try all the possible. But this ecouncil.org has a proper name. But the major important thing is it the mail isn't on the inbox or the spam. If it's on the inbox table, it could be lead us a bounty, a good bounty in the first stage of bug bounty. Otherwise, if it is on the spam mail, it will not count as bounty part, bug bounty part. So our major intention over here is to simply penetrate the skills one by one and look for the valuable datas that could be leaders for information part. Is it clear to everyone? सिंपल किसी के डोमेन को यूज करें क्योंकि वहां पे एसपीएफ रिकॉर्ड है नहीं, और एसपीएफ रिकॉर्ड क्या करता है, आपके उस डोमेन के साथ आपकी मेल सर्वर के साथ एक्सचेंज कराता है डेटा को।
सर
हाँ जी बोलिए।
जैसे आपने टेम्पररी मेल का यूज किया, क्या आप ये कि मतलब अगर मतलब मेरे को देखना है कि कौन से फोल्डर में आता है, तो आप मेरे ईमेल पे सेंड कर सकते हैं ये फेक मेल? मेरे को देखना है ये एक्चुअल मेल में आएगा कि स्पैम मेल में आएगा। मैं ऐसा चैट पे ईमेल लिख देता हूँ।
यहाँ पे बोलो।
ए बागड़े, ए बी ए बी ए
डी ए
बी सर, बी फॉर बॉम्बे वाला,
बी ए
GDE 92 @gmail.com।
ठीक है।
यप।
चेक करो।
यप। अभी तो फिलहाल कुछ आया नहीं है। आया नहीं अभी तक।
It will take some time।
आप
और ये आपके स्पैम में भी आ सकता है।
हाँ, स्पैम भी चेक कर रहा हूँ मैं साइड बाय साइड।
Check the spam email also, you will get the data।
मैं वही चेक कर रहा हूँ। सर आप आगे करा लो, आएगा तो मैं बता दूंगा।
ठीक है। सो जैसे कि यहाँ पे नेटक्राफ्ट में भी आपको सारी चीजें देखनी है। यू हैव टू चेक ऑल द पॉसिबिलिटीज वन बाय वन व्हिच कैन बी लीड अस फॉर इंफॉर्मेशन गेटिंग पार्ट। DMIRC is also important because this is also based on your SPF record, domain based message authentication report and conference. And this is also a mechanism for domain owners to indicate how mail purporting or to originate from the domain should be authenticated. So there could be also a possibilities one by one. Web trackers, you will see all the possibilities one by one. And the most important part, when you gather, whether you want to gather the information of the subdomain also, you can try to get a website called search DNS Netcraft. Search DNS Netcraft will let you know about the subdomains of the website. Search web by domain. See, this Netcraft can be also used for the subdomains of the specific ecouncil.org website. So let's have a look. site contains. So we're gonna write ecouncil.org. Oh, sorry, ecouncil.org web domain. Hmm. It's showing me there are around 22 subdomains. 22 subdomains are there. It's showing us. But if you check for over here, it's showing aspin.ecouncil.org, cyberq@ecouncil.org, coded. The subdomains are the anything, but they are using the ecouncil.org, which is the domain part. Say, try ecouncil.org. You can simply open this one and check. The request was not found on this server. Means it's a dead one. You can use another websites like masterclass.ecouncil.org. See, we never knew that this website belongs to ecouncil or not, because ecouncil.org masterclass schedule. Store ecouncil.org. Let's move to the next part. Career ecouncil.org is also there. The major perspective of this one is to find the low-hanging fruit, the low-hanging vulnerable website, which can be used for the further stages, and that could be lead us for information gathering part. So we're gonna try one by one and look for the websites. So let's have a try on the different websites one by one and have a look what we can get the possibilities. So there are many tools that you can use, or otherwise we can use Google Docs also. The topic we were using, Google Docs. And Google Docs can be also be helpful for identifying the live websites or the files which is not available on the source code, and we can look for the many further things also. If you search for the exploit DB, see GHDB, Google database. Exploit DB has lots of Google Docs that can be used for information gathering part. See, there are around 6,152 Google Docs that can be used for information gathering part. In URL, ADF, LS, page containing login portals, site government in title index of DB, file containing some juicy information. You can click over here. Google Docs can be used in many ways. Revel Kante. See, the website they are using is asterisk mark. Asterisk means wildcard, and it would be dot and asterisk. There could be anything. .in, .eu, anything. So let's have a look. Have a look of use of Google Docs. There are around 17,000 results came, and you can see index of DB, index of database. Username Colista Kedim, and it's an iron mind. Database name is Colista Colistin. And this is a database of your PK website, Pakistan website, which is publicly available. So our major concern over here, using Google Docs to identify some sensitive informations. But over here, we're gonna use Google Docking. Google Docking is also known as Google Docking or Google Hacking. Is a valuable resource for security researchers. For average persons, Google is just a search engine. to find some videos, images, and news. But through the Google Docs, most other hackers use it for the compromising or information gathering part. And see this one, popular Google Docs operators. They are like cache, all in title, all in title one, all in URL, file type in URL. Lots of things has been given. So we're gonna check the most common thing, how we can find the URL. So over here, I'm gonna use a site URL. A site URL means uh, the website, and the site which I'm gonna give is ecouncil.org. Let's check with the south content how many sites are there. There are around 47,800, 24,800 sites belongs to ecouncil.org, but we're gonna find the subdomain, so we're gonna do strict. Let's try to look. Now there are around 27,000. Now suppose this site contains all the asterisk mark, but we need to find the IP address of the ecouncil.org website. Then what? ecouncil.org will let you know about the information about the domains and subdomains that can be used for the further stages. There you can try the ecouncil.org, or there are various techniques we can use it for information gathering part. Each and every operator over here will let you know about the information that can be worked for the different stages. These things you have learned in your CH first module in the footprinting part. These are the same things which you have to gather the information, and you have to pick up the right one. Either you can use the burp suite, or either you can use other further things, and that could be leaders or information part also. There are various source engines, search engines that we can use it for further. See this one, star, a wildcard used to search pages that contains anything before use. How to star a website will return how to design, create, and hack. Pipe command is a logical operator. Security tips that shows the sites which contains security or tips or both words, which can be used for the many further things. Plus, it is used to concatenate words. Concatenate means to merge the word. Minus operator used to avoid showing result that contains certain words, like example security trials. Like if you simply minus the trial version, it will show you the security only. Will show you the will show you pages of the use of security in their text, not the those who have the trials words. So there are many other further things can be used. See this one. The most important part is to simply understand how the Google Docs works, because this is just like your normal URL that you are using, and all the things are same. There's nothing difference. All the things are same. So if you pick any of this one, you can simply check one by one all these things. It's to understand juicy information. Juicy information could be what? Information that could not be visible to any of the human eye, a normal human eye, and that could be used for the different further things. Our major concern over here is to simply get all the details, all the information that could be lead us for the exploiting part. Simply think about the URL. As I mentioned you, the main important thing is to find the URL, the exact URL. So index of, let's see this one, index of admin. You can simply check these are the index files of any of the government files. This is government.in file, which is India. And these are some files over there on the server side. Index of paragaming.org. It's going to take some time over here to open.
सर ऐसे तो सर इन्होंने ऐसे डाल रखा है मतलब क्लियरली तो कोई भी अटैक कर सकता है जिसको गूगल डॉकिंग पता हो।
गूगल डॉकिंग से कोई भी एक अटैकर कुछ भी कर सकता है।
हाँ
Just
तो
use it.
लाइक
See, there are lots of data which is missed. और गूगल डॉकिंग आपके बेसिक नॉर्मल सर्च है,
हाँ
और ये URL पैरामीटर्स जो आपके यूज करते हैं वही सारे चीजें, नथिंग एल्स।
ओके सर।
The Google hacking, the docking will help you a lot of things. Part, for example, if you need to find the documents that is using on the part, for example, अगर आपको subdomains चाहिए तो virus total भी आपका एक वेबसाइट है, virus total. You can also use virus total to identify the domain and subdomain on the server side. See, all you have to go to the search parameter and you have to write the URL and enter. Just go to the details. You will see which kind of website is it. Category mobile communication, computer security. Suppose it's an educational institute. See, -a address found. Triple A is the IPv. This is IPv4 and this is IPv6. The data, and if you check for the relationships, you will see the other subdomains and the IP address. Now the most important thing came, which subdomain is vulnerable. So you have to check all the subdomains one by one, which is vulnerable over there. If there is around 100 and 200 subdomains, but might on all सोचना पड़ेगा कि सारे के सारे तो vulnerable नहीं हो सकते ना. You need to find the low hanging fruit. The low hanging fruit which is vulnerable over there, which can be used for the further stages. So the major objective of this session was all about information gathering and the burp suite installation part.